We all know that plateau factor where it's like maybe on a weight release journey, you lose 20 pounds, maybe 40, but then you can't seem to lose any more weight and you're trudging along, or any kind of journey where it just feels like you've made so much progress initially and now it just starts to get a little stagnant. And it's like, what is going on? And this is definitely an opportunity when it's time to ask me questions. So we were far from healed, but we had made lots of improvement. We were still having flare ups, I just held on to my belief that the health issues that we were experiencing could be non-issues, but we had definitely reached that point where it's like we're stagnant and unsure of what to do. And what we realized, hindsight, we had plans, but we didn't have a process. So ever feel like that, like you're doing all of the right things, like you're trying to put the puzzle pieces together, but it's not really working the way that you would expect. And so we were researching and we were studying and we were making our own formulations. We had stopped using the unnecessary medications. I did stop going to the chiropractor. We had changed our diets and we were exercising regularly. We had plans, but we didn't have a process. Like it's like we had all of the ingredients on the kitchen table, but we definitely did not have the recipe to make a 3-star Michelin recipe. So there's a fine line between using natural remedies and actually healing through a truly holistic process. So when this happened, when we realized that we had plateaued, we knew we had to make a decision. We could keep trudging along, doing this on our own, kind of spinning our wheels, or we could learn, we could get a teacher. And that's when we decided to sign up for mentorship when we lived in Brooklyn. And under Karen, our journey was remarkable. From day one, we realized we hadn't scratched the surface of what it really means to heal. We learned what we were doing wrong, why we had plateaued, and we were approaching health no differently, really, than the conventional medical industry does, which is matching symptoms for drugs. But we had replaced drugs for herbs. And that's not healing. That's a mistake that a lot of us make when we're making this transition from the biomedical model to holistic models. And so that's a really kind of a superficial approach to wellness that's not truly holistic. So we spent our time getting some more of our questions answered. And it was during this period that we won the Power Up Business Plan competition. Our Iwilla Remedy took off with our body care line. We were featured in all sorts of press, Mother Earth Living, Yoga Journal. But while our business was winning, smack dab in the middle of year 2 of our apprenticeship, all of my childhood trauma rose to the surface. So repressed memories of sexual abuse, the emotional abuse I had suffered as a child, really just the tragedy of the household environment I grew up in, all of that horror that I experienced as a result of being raised by a violent, alcoholic, and abusive parent. That came flooding back. And this was the lowest of the low, totally wreaked havoc on my body. So every physical issue that I thought I had made improvement on had a resurgence, all of it, like all of the musculoskeletal pain, the acne, the digestive issues, had new wrist pain, had new knee pain, and I was having terrible sleep paralysis at the time, in which I was being repeatedly like attacked in my sleep, and I couldn't. You're conscious with sleep paralysis, but you can't move. I don't wish that on anyone. It's such a terrible feeling. Like I couldn't wake up to save myself. And anytime I would think about the trauma, I would just have this emptying out feeling from the breasts down. So all sensation would leave me. I just kind of felt like jello, but like empty. And that's really when it hit me that every health issue that I was having was related to my trauma. So as hard of a time as this was, it was also a period of accelerated healing because now I was just more resolute, more determined than ever to heal and just refuse to accept any other type of outcome that did not result in me feeling completely in control. Because that's what triggers do, and that's what trauma does, makes you feel out of control. And I really needed to feel back into, or just, I can't even say back, I needed to learn what it felt like to be in control of my body, my energy, my mind, my emotions, my thoughts, everything. So the trauma rising kind of felt like a golden ticket because now it's like, oh, I have a very clear intention. Now the path was made clear. Like now I knew I was what I'm supposed to focus on. And Tammy was going through it just as much as I was, but in her own way. Anytime there's trauma, there's illness, there's loss in a partnership, in a community, like we know this globally, the whole unit experiences it. So together we were definitely going through our unique kind of individual processing of my trauma and the physical pain that trauma causes. That's when we developed the Calypso healing method. So we kind of combined and integrated all of our work with plants and natural support and our learning of healing modalities and even spiritual teachings. and came up with a process to heal physical pain from the emotional root cause. So we'll talk more about what the Calypso healing method is in a bit. And from there, I can't tell you how good life got. Like, it got really good. A whole new door and path opens up when we heal